What's going on, everybody? Matt Modi here with OddsJam, here to give you some NFL player props to lock in for this coming NFL week, NFL Sunday, week 17. So, books already have all their props posted, which means that there are a ton of valuable plays to find. Of course, for me, my betting process starts and pretty much ends. It's just the sole thing I do using OddsJam, using the positive expected value page, and some other tools that OddsJam has to offer, like the screen, arbitrage, all that good stuff is helpful. But for this video, specifically going to be pulling plays from the positive EV page. And using OddsJam, using the positive EV page means you are placing bets that have an edge over the sportsbook. Generally, an unfortunate reality is sportsbooks have the edge over you. So using a tool like OddsJam gains the edge back over them, which is why it's such a valuable tool. And the way it works, and I can use my the first play that we're going to lock in here as a way to talk about how it works, is the first play is Josh Reynolds under 32.5 receiving yards. So this play is at Betfred and BetMGM. Both have it at minus 120 odds, so you can lock it in on either one. And the reason why this is such a profitable play is because of this number right here. The no vig odds that OddsJam calculates has this priced to be at about minus 131, pretty much minus 131. And again, we're getting it 11 cents lower at minus 120 at each book. And the reason why this is such a good play, why this matters so much, is these no vig odds are pulled from the sharpest sports books in the world, the sports books that consistently do the best job at pricing odds. Over the course of time, there are a certain number of sports books that are sharper than others. So OddsJam backtested thousands and thousands of betting opportunities to make that determination of what sportsbooks are the sharpest. And that's exactly what feeds into these no vig odds here. So you can view this as the perfect line, the true line of what a market should truly be priced at. So this number is minus 131, and we're getting it at minus 120. That's 11 cents lower. So the odds for this play should be priced at minus 131, which gives us a win percentage of exactly 56.75. If you look at the win percentage for minus 120, which we can do if we go to odds converter calculator, and you just type in the odds in question, which in this case is minus 120, only has a probability of 54.55. So this means that if you place 1,000 bets at minus 120 odds and you win exactly 54.55, you will have broken even. You wouldn't have won money, you wouldn't have lost money. So any number it hits above 54.55, 54.6, you are profiting because you are hitting above the break-even number. And we know from the sharpest sports books in the world that this is going to hit 56.75% of the time. So obviously above this number, which is telling you that this is a profitable betting opportunity over the course of time. And that's exactly how positive expected value betting, how that works. You're placing bets that you know as the sports bettor is going to hit at a higher rate than the implied odds that the sports book is giving you. And it's all from these no vig odds here compared to the betting market, in this case, minus 120. So another thing you want to do, because you can look at the math and see that pretty immediately that there is some value here, also because it's showing up on the EV page. So if there was no value, it wouldn't show up. So there's additional research that you can do to make sure that you're placing the best of the best. And all you want to do is if you hover over a positive EV play, you just click your mouse, you literally just click, it pulls up where every sportsbook is pricing odds for this play. So it looks like it's only at BetMGM now, but you want to compare the bet that you are placing to the rest of the betting markets. So what you see on the screen here is where every other book prices the over and the under 32.5. We are betting the under 32.5. BetMGM has it at minus 120. The closest book, the closest one, has it all the way up to minus 150, which is significantly more likely to occur. That's how they have it priced, and that would be DraftKings, than the minus 120 that BetMGM is offering. Pinnacle has it at minus 165. Caesars has it at minus 169. And Pinnacle is the sharpest sportsbook in the world, so you obviously want to give that one the heaviest weight. You still want to compare every other sportsbook because you want to make sure you're looking at the entire betting landscape, but this is a really good play. Another thing you can do, and this only works for plays that are like yards, totals, spreads, something like that, where sportsbooks are going to have different numbers themselves. So right now, we know that from this screenshot that sportsbooks have different odds, right? Just across the board, they have different odds. They also have different numbers in what they price a stat to be. So not every single sports book is going to price this over under at 32.5. So if you open the event page in a new tab, it pulls up where every sports book is pricing this market at, and we are getting him at under 32.5, right? Josh Reynolds under 32.5. Look at every other sports book. So this is Underdog right here, prices it at prices it at 31.5, 1 yard lower. And then we see a couple other sports books. PointsBet prices it at prices it at 30.5, and favors it going under. So PointsBet and looks like Bet365 price it 2 yards lower at 30.5, and they favor it going under. They have the underpriced at -120. Let me zoom out a little bit so we can see the full screen here. So basically what we're doing here, and I can kind of sum this up, we are taking the under 32.5, and it looks like literally every other sportsbook that prices this play either heavily favors it at 32.5, or they price it below this number, which is why another reason why this is such a good play. And that's exactly what you're looking for, right? You're looking for an outlier compared to the rest of the betting market. So this is the first play, Josh Reynolds under 32.5 receiving yards. Ton of value on this play. That's my first pick for this video. Next up, we are going to look at Juju Smith-Schuster under 5.5 receptions. So this is at Bet365 and also at Tipico. So hopefully you have one of those two books. And similar logic here, right? OddsJam prices the Novig line to be at about -124. We are getting it at -115. So about a 9-cent difference between these two books. And then you want to look at the rest of the betting markets, step 2. So we're getting it at -115. The closest book looks like BetOnline. And BetOnline actually is a sharp sports book, so we do give that one some weight. They're 10 cents higher at -125. And then look at every other book. The closest one to that is -130, so 15 cents higher. And then we see -150, -154, -140, -141, and then Pinnacle being the sharpest at -158. All these sportsbook, even BetOnline, which is closer, have it as pretty decently more likely to occur than the implied odds of -115. So this is my second betting pick for this video. Juju Smith-Schuster under 5.5 receptions, -115 odds at Bet365 and at Tipico. So now we have a game. The Cardinals, looks like the odds changed here, so not going to lock that one in. So we're going to look at the next one, the third pick for this video, AJ Brown under 5.5 receptions. So it says the odds here changed, but PointsBet is still offering it at -125. So whatever sportsbooks have different odds, it doesn't affect the positivity of this play because we still have it PointsBet at -125. The OddsJam perfect line prices this at -130, and then same thing across the board. So FanDuel, that one's FanDuel, is a little bit closer, not a little bit, is closer at -130. And then we have Tipico and BetRivers, 15 to 18 cents higher. Every other book has it pretty decently above this number, right? -160, -157, -155, -160. BetOnline at -154, and then Pinnacle as the most favored at -181. Now this Pinnacle line does seem to be a little bit of an outlier as well. So my guess here is that the perfect line for this, of what it should be priced at, is somewhere in between -125 and -181, probably closer to the -150, -160 number. That's still 25 to 40 cents higher than what PointsBet is giving to us at -125. So this is still a really good price, this PointsBet one. AJ Brown under 5.5 receptions, -125 at PointsBet. Next up, we are looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown over 7.5 receptions. Incredible receiver for the Lions. This is obviously in the Lions-Bears game. The play is at +120 odds at PointsBet. This is the fourth pick for this video. The OddsJam perfect line pricing this at about, almost exactly +116.5. So then, of course, you want to compare the rest of the sports books. So it looks like FanDuel is close here. For whatever reason, if you don't have PointsBet, you can lock this one in at FanDuel. This would still be a positive expected value play. I know this because the perfect line has this at +116.5. So any number above this, and when above its higher payout, is going to be positive EV. So +118 still qualifies. But look at every other book. Tipico, kind of in the middle at +110. And then we see odds ranging from +102, which is BetOnline, Pinnacle has it at minus 102. That's a good sign. And then minus 105, minus 103, minus 105, minus 105. But then the lowest at minus 108. So this plus 120 and this plus 118, two really good prices as my fourth pick for this video. And then the last one that I wanted to lock in here is in the Eagles. Another one in the Eagles versus Saints game is Gardner Minshew under 1.5 passing touchdowns, plus 115 odds at PointsBet. So a couple books have it closer, like Bet365 and Tipico have it 10 cents lower, or 5 cents lower, excuse me. And then we see a couple have it 10 cents lower, Betfred, DraftKings at plus 105, as is FoxBet. And then we have BetOnline, Sharpbook at plus 100, and Pinnacle, another Sharpbook at minus 117. So again, Pinnacle has it as the most likely scenario compared to every other book. They seem to be a little bit of an outlier as well. Probably more likely it should be priced at about plus 100, which is still giving us a positive EV play with this at plus 115 and the OddsJam perfect line at plus 112. So this is going to be my final pick for this video. I got 5 for you guys to lock in for the NFL betting slate. So if you're tailing these, comment, let me know. We'd love to hear it. But that's all I got. So appreciate everybody watching and have a good one.